Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Hockey on the Spot with Brandon Barenfeld. I'm Brandon Barenfeld. Thank you for joining me. This is episode 79 of Hockey on the Spot. I apologize for not being able to do this episode last night. I was really busy once again, so I will do 2 episodes today. So we'll start with getting through all the updates and then going over the games from October the 19th, which was Saturday. There were 13 games that night, so this will be a little bit of a longer video, but my next one will then be shorter. So let's get to it. Starting with the Pittsburgh Penguins recalling Chris Connor from the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins. They do that to add some depth. Ottawa Senators recall Derek Grant from the Binghamton Senators. The Minnesota Wild have reassigned goaltender Darcy Kemper to the Iowa Wild as they now have Nicklas Backstrom back from injury, which is great news for them. The San Jose Sharks have reassigned Bracken Kearns to the Worcester Sharks. Bad news in Winnipeg. The Winnipeg Jets have placed Jacob Trouba on IR and recalled Adam Pardy from the St. John's Ice Caps of the American Hockey League. Detroit Red Wings defenseman Nicholas Kronwall is day-to-day with a mild concussion, and when he spoke with the media a couple days ago, he said that he's not sure when he'll be cleared and that it was not a dirty hit by Colorado Avalanche forward Cody McLeod as he put himself in a bad position. Very honest words from a very honest player. The Chicago Blackhawks have signed Nicholas Svedberg to a 2-year entry-level deal. The Columbus Blue Jackets have recalled Jack Skilly from the Springfield Falcons. He was one of their off-season signings from the Florida Panthers. So good news for them. Colorado Avalanche. More about Cody McLeod. His in-person hearing, which allows for 5+ games, is set for Monday as he faces NHL player safety for his hit on Nicholas Kronwall. Meanwhile, Buffalo Sabres forward Patrick Coletta's appeal to Commissioner Gary Bettman for his 10-game suspension due to the headshot on Blue Jackets defenseman Jack Johnson is set for today as well. So we'll see how that goes. The Buffalo Sabres assigned Rasmus Ristolainen to the Rochester Americans, and in change added Nikita Zadorov to their roster, and he made his debut the other night against the Colorado Avalanche. He began the year injured, so that's why he didn't play. Sad news a couple days ago in the NHL is Alan Stanley, the Hall of Fame defenseman who won 4 Stanley Cups with the Leafs in the 1960s, died at the age of 87, so God bless him. The Pittsburgh Penguins have signed Mattia Marcantuoni to a 3-year entry-level deal. Yep. The New York Rangers unrestricted free agent defenseman Roman Hamrlik will announce his retirement sometime this week. Hamrlik was the first overall draft pick at the 1992 NHL Draft, which was also the Tampa Bay Lightning's first ever draft pick. I feel like he never really lived up to his draft status as first overall. He ended up being a solid defenseman, but not a first overall pick. Also, more New York Rangers news. They have seemingly lost faith in former top prospect Chris Kreider and are shopping him in return for a top 6 forward. We'll get more into that in a bit here. Meanwhile, with the Florida Panthers, it's been less than a month since Vincent Viola purchased the team, and it's believed that the new owner is already asking for a fire sale of veterans. Viola is prepared to invest in young players, but has asked GM Dale Talon to make all veterans available, including Thomas Fleischman, Chris Versteeg, Scotty Upshaw, Sean Matthias, Brad Boyes, Marcel Gottsch, Tom Gilbert, Dmitry Kulikov, and even goaltender Tim Thomas, which is a bit of a surprise. New York Rangers goaltender Martin Biron, who was recently waived and sent to the American Hockey League, officially announced his retirement the other day, which is sad way to end his career, to have him get sent down. He had a year remaining on his contract. So good luck to Marty Biron and whatever he does for the rest of his life. Anyway, the Anaheim Ducks have placed forward Brad Staubitz on waivers. He really didn't do much for the team and was more of an enforcer. Couple of players assigned to the American Hockey League. Brett Connolly was assigned to the Syracuse Crunch by the Tampa Bay Lightning. The Chicago Blackhawks assigned Joakim Nordstrom to the Rockford IceHogs. The Montreal Canadiens assigned Nathan Beaulieu to the Hamilton Bulldogs. And last but not least, the Toronto Maple Leafs assigned Carter Ashton, David Brohl, and Trevor Smith to the Toronto Marlies. The Calgary Flames recalled Chris Breen and Roman Horak from the Abbotsford Heat while assigning Blair Jones and Derek Smith to the American Hockey League. Detroit Red Wings forward Darren Helm could return to the NHL action on Saturday when the Detroit Red Wings host the New York Rangers. Now going back to the Chris Kreider news, the New York Rangers seem to be giving him one last chance as they have recalled him, Brandon Mashinter, and goaltender Cam Talbot from the Hartford Wolfpack and reassigned forward Darryl Powell and goaltender Jason Mission to Hartford. So they seem to be giving Chris Kreider one last chance to prove himself before they start getting him involved with a trade. New York Islanders forward Michael Grabner will have a phone hearing with NHL Player Safety for a hit to the head on Carolina Hurricanes forward Nathan Gerbe. We'll get more into that when we talk about that game. Yes. We will talk more about that when we talk about that game. Yes, and it will be a busy week for the player of safety as Avalanche Cody McLeod's in-person hearing takes place today, along with Sabres Patrick Coletta appealing to his 10-game suspension to the commissioner. Meanwhile, New York Islanders forward Michael Grabner, phone, and Dallas Stars forward Ryan Garbutt in person await their hearings. And that is it for all the updates. Now let us get to the games from Saturday night. 13 games, so let's try to get through this as quickly as possible. Starting with the Vancouver Canucks and the Pittsburgh Penguins in Pittsburgh. John Tortorella back in the Eastern Conference area. Pittsburgh Penguins coming up with a big win by a final score of 4-3 in a shootout, and another multi-point night for Sidney Crosby, a goal and 2 assists. But also a 3-point night for Kevin Bieksa, who had 3 assists in the game. So, starting with the Pittsburgh goals, after the Canucks led 1-0, Sidney Crosby got the Pens on the board, assisted by Chris Kunitz and Pascal Dupuis. Then Chris Kunitz would score a power play goal, assisted by Evgeny Malkin and Sidney Crosby. And then after the Canucks took a 3-2 lead, just a couple seconds later, defenseman Olli Määttä would score his first NHL goal, assisted by Chris Kunitz and Sidney Crosby. He was a first-round draft pick of the Penguins in 2012. For the Vancouver Canucks, their goals coming from Alexander Edler, assisted by Kevin Bieksa and Henrik Sedin. Then Brad Richardson would get up on the board, assisted by Dale Weiss, his first point of the year, and Kevin Bieksa. And then Zach Kassian would get his first goal of the season, assisted by David Booth and Kevin Bieksa. So again, 3 assists on the night for Kevin Bieksa. In the shootout, Evgeny Malkin would score a highlight reel goal, and that would be the only goal in the shootout. And by the way, I should also bring up that Alex Edler's first goal of the game, the first goal of the game scored by Alexander Edler, was a flub goal led up by Marc-Andre Fleury. The Malkins would score the shootout winner, and the only goal in the shootout, Sidney Crosby and Jussi Jokinen and Sidney Crosby would also go for the team. For the Vancouver Canucks, they would go with Mike Santorelli, Alexander Edler, and Ryan Kessler. The Sedin twins did not take part in that shootout. Despite the flub goal given up by to Edler, Marc-Andre Fleury was brilliant once again and remains undefeated. 36 saves on 39 shots, a .923 save percentage. So he was brilliant. While Roberto Luongo for the Vancouver Canucks was also pretty good. 25 saves on 28 shots, an .893 save percentage. So the goaltending was very solid, but the Fleury was better. Congrats to the Pittsburgh Penguins. Next, we have the Edmonton Oilers and the Ottawa Senators in Ottawa. The Oilers coming up big with a 3-1 win over the Sens by a final score of 3-1. At long last, the Oilers getting themselves a win, and Devan Dubnyk getting his first win of the season after 5 attempts. The Oiler goals being scored by, oh yes, and a multi-point performance for Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, who had a goal and 2 assists. Starting with a goal by, actually, I'm sorry, 2 goals and an assist. The first goal being scored by Jordan Eberle, assisted by, of course, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Then the first of Ryan Nugent-Hopkins' 2 goals was assisted by Nail Yakupov and Jordan Eberle. 2 points for Jordan Eberle, and for Nail Yakupov, his first point of the season at long last. He got an assist. This is a guy who has been through all sorts of trade talks and was also scratched for 2 straight games at one point. So we'll see what happens along the way there. And then, with 35 seconds left in the game, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins would add an empty net goal unassisted to cap it all off. Again, Devan Dubnyk got his first win of the year and was brilliant. 35 saves and 36 shots, a .972 save percentage. He was tremendous in the hockey game. For the Ottawa Senators, Chris Neil would score the only goal for them, his first of the year, assisted by Clark MacArthur and Patrick Wierkosh. Robin Lehner would get the starting goal, and did not look like the same Robin Lehner we saw out west. 18 saves on 20 shots, a .900 save percentage. So he'll look to move past that one. And again, Ottawa had more shots on goal in the game, and of all guys, Chris Phillips led the game with 5 shots on goal. A guy known more for his defensive abilities. So congratulations to the Edmonton Oilers. Next we have the Colorado Avalanche and the Buffalo Sabres. The Avs look to erase a disappointing loss to their former rivals, the Detroit Red Wings. They do just that against the Buffalo Sabres with a 4-2 win. And now go 7-1-0. Colorado goals being scored by Ryan O'Reilly, assisted by Matt Duchene and Steve Downey. Then Gabriel Landeskog would score his second in as many games, assisted by Erik Johnson. Then Matt Duchene would score his 6th of the year on the power play, assisted by Ryan O'Reilly and Andre Benoit. And then Paul Stastny would get his 1st of the year, assisted by Gabriel Landeskog and Ryan Wilson. So Matt Duchene remaining hot, as he has been the best player by far. He's been by far the best player so far this year for the Colorado Avalanche. Jean-Sebastien Giguère would get the starting goal for this game, his 2nd start of the year, and was brilliant once again. 28 saves and 30 shots, a .933 save percentage. He was very good. Meanwhile, for the Colorado Avalanche, forward Steve Downey led the game with 17 penalty minutes. He was the only guy reaching double digits in penalties for the game. Steve Downey doing what he does best, being a very dirty player. Being a very, very dirty player. For the Buffalo Sabres, their goals coming from Cody Hodgson, assisted by Drew Stafford and Thomas Vanek, and then Marcus Foligno would get up on the board in the early in the third period, assisted by Henrik Tallinder and Tyler Myers. And for Henrik Tallinder, his first point in his 2nd stint with the Buffalo Sabres. Congratulations to him. Ryan Miller got the starting goal and made 22 saves on 26 shots, an .846 save percentage. Not a great night for him. Congratulations to the Colorado Avalanche. Next, we have the Nashville Predators and the Montreal Canadiens in Montreal. Really tight game, but a good one and a good game as well. It would be Nashville coming out on top in this game by a final score of 2-1. Their goals coming from Shea Weber, who scored on the power play, assisted by David Legwand and Philip Forsberg. And then Seth Jones would get his 2nd of the year, which would be the game-winning goal, assisted by David Legwand and Colin Wilson. Legwand with 2 assists in the game, but this came at just over 2 minutes to go in the game. Seth Jones, a great moment for him to get a game-winning goal in against the most historic team in the history of the National Hockey League. Pekka Rinne, very brilliant in this game. 28 saves on 29 shots, a .966 save percentage. He was very, very good. For the Montreal Canadiens, Brendan Gallagher would get the only goal for them, assisted by Michael Bournival, his first career assist, and Lars Eller. Carey Price would get the start in net, and he was also really good despite the loss. 35 saves and 37 shots and 946 save percentage. On a night all about the goaltending, it would be the Preds coming out on top. Congrats to them. Next, we have the Boston Bruins and the Tampa Bay Lightning. For the Boston Bruins, they come up with a big win in Tampa Bay, a 5-0 shutout victory for Tuukka Rask. For Tuukka Rask, as Ben Bishop suffers his first loss of the season, sadly. And a lot of the Bruins scores came from guys who got their first of the year. Like David Krejci, for example. He got his first of the year, and that was the game-winning goal, assisted by Milan Lucic and Jarome Iginla. Then Adam McQuaid would get his first of the year unassisted. Then Patrice Bergeron would get his second of the year, assisted by Riley Smith and Louis Eriksson, his first assist of the season. Then Chris Kelly would get up on the board, assisted by Brad Marchand and Carl Soderberg, their first assists of the year. And for Carl Soderberg, that is his third NHL point. And then Sean Thornton would get his first goal of the year, assisted by Daniel Paille, his first assist of the year. So big night for many players. Tuukka Rask was brilliant once again, leading the Bruins to a 23-save shutout. He was unbelievable. He has started in every single game for the Boston Bruins this season. Chad Johnson has yet to see action this season. For the Tampa Bay Lightning, they got Ben Bishop would get the start in net and came down to earth for this game, suffering his first loss of the year. Just 13 saves on just 17 shots, a .765 save percentage, before being pulled for Anders Lindback. He did not really help the cause. He let up a goal, 4 saves on 5 shots, an .800 save percentage. So a night to forget for the Tampa Bay Lightning and their fans. Congrats to the Boston Bruins. Next, we have the Minnesota Wild and the Florida Panthers in Florida. The Panthers coming up with a huge win in this game. Both goals by both teams coming on the power play. The Panthers goal got their goal second. The final score was 2-1 in a shootout. The Panthers goal being scored by Alexander Barkov, assisted by Thomas Fleischmann and Brian Campbell. But prior to that, the Wild goal was scored by defenseman Jonas Brodin, whose goal was assisted by Danny Heatley and Michael Granlund. In the shootout, the Panthers scored on both opportunities. Jonathan Huberdeau and Brad Boyes would score in the shootout. Zach Parise and Mikko Koivu would go for the Wild. They would both miss. For the Florida Panthers, Tim Thomas would get the start in net and was brilliant. 30 saves and 31 shots, a .968 save percentage, and the first star of the game. He looked like the old Tim Thomas. Meanwhile, for the Minnesota Wild, Josh Harding would get yet another starting goal. And was good too. 21 saves and 22 shots, a .955 save percentage. So congratulations. So he was good, but Thomas was better. Congratulations to the Florida Panthers. Next, we have the New York Rangers and the New Jersey Devils at the Prudential Center. The Devils seeking their first win of the season, and no better way to do it than against their who they considered their biggest rivals, the New York Rangers. The Devils, the last team to get a victory in the NHL, they finally do it. They do it against the New York Rangers via a 4-0 shutout victory. The Devils' goals being scored by Andrei Loktionov, his first of the year, assisted by Anton Volchenkov. Then Adam Henrique would get himself up on the board, assisted by Rostislav Olesh and Jaromir Jagr. And for Olesh, that is not only his first point in a New Jersey Devils sweater, however, that is also his first point since the 2010-2011 season, his first point since scoring a goal February 16th, 2011, against the Philadelphia Flyers. So a big point for Rostislav Olesh. After that, Michael Ryder would get himself a power play goal, assisted by Jaromir Jagr and Marek Zidlitsky. And then Dinas Zubris would cap it off with his second of the year, assisted by Bryce Salvador and Marek Zidlitsky. Corey Schneider got the starting goal and led the way with a 22-save shutout, his first win in a New Jersey Devils sweater, as well as the first win in general for the New Jersey Devils. For the New York Rangers, Henrik Lundqvist would get the starting goal. He played the entire game, and he did not look good at all. He only faced 19 shots and only made 15 saves. A .789 save percentage. That is one of the worst games in the career of Henrik Lundqvist. But because they did not have a legitimate backup goaltender, Jason Mission served as the backup goaltender for the game. And because they had no legit backup goaltender, Lundqvist had to stay in the game. Congratulations to the New Jersey Devils. Now, Rangers now get themselves a 5. Luckily for the Rangers, they will now have 5 days off before they're playing the Philadelphia Flyers on Thursday. Next, we have the Carolina Hurricanes and the New York Islanders. At the Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum, the Canes coming out on top with a 4-3 victory, and a big victory for them. After a scoreless first period, the scoring got going in the second, starting with Jiri Tlusty, who had a 2-goal game, his first 2 of the season, his first being assisted by Eric Stahl and Alexander Semin, his first assist of the year. Then Jordan Stahl would get himself a power play goal, his first goal of the season, assisted by Ryan Murphy and Nathan Gerbe. Then Jeff Skinner would get his third of the year, assisted by Riley Nash, his first assist of the year, and Tuomo Ruutu. And for Riley Nash, I believe that was also his first point of the year. Nope, this is his second point of the year. He had a goal previously this year. They had a 3-0 lead, and then after the Islanders cut the shutout away, Jiri Tlusty had his second of the game, assisted by Alexander Semin and Eric Stahl. That top line for the Hurricanes finally getting going. But what part of the reason for them being as unsuccessful as they had been is because of the poor play of that top line. Good to see them getting going. Cam Ward got the start in net and was good. 22 saves on 25 shots and .880 save percentage. The New York Islanders, though, give them credit. They pushed for a comeback. They really did. Starting with a power play goal by Matt Moulson, assisted by Andrew McDonald, his first assist of the year, and John Tavares. Then Franz Nielsen would get a power play goal, assisted by Kyle Oposo and Matt Moulson. And then Kyle Oposo would get up on the board, assisted by Pierre-Marc Bouchard and Matt Moulson. So a goal and 2 assists for Matt Moulson. He was brilliant. But one guy who was not brilliant, however, was the goaltender, Evgeny Nabokov. Just 19 saves on 23 shots and .826 save percentage. So, a game he will look to have back in the future. Congratulations to the Carolina Hurricanes. Next, we have the Columbus Blue Jackets and the Washington Capitals in Washington, the Caps, coming up with a big win by a final score of 4-1, making Sergei Bobrovsky look silly. For the Caps, their goals being scored by Joel Ward on the power play, assisted by Marcus Johansson and Nicholas Backstrom. Then Brooks Slyke would get up on the board, assisted by Steve Oleksy and Martin Erat, his first assist of the season. And that would also be his first point of the season. Martin Erat looked out to prove that he is not a guy to be traded, and he did just that with a 3-assist performance. He would also then get his second assist on Troy Brower's second of the year. So Troy Brower from Martin Erat. And then Alex Ovechkin would score his 7th of the year on the power play, assisted by Mike Green, and who else? Martin Erat. So Martin Erat's best game of the year by far. Braden Holtby looked very, very good in this game, getting his second win of the season. 37 saves on 38 shots and 974 save percentage. As things look like they're starting to come together for the Washington Capitals, at least for now. For the Columbus Blue Jackets, Artem Anisimov would score the only goal for them, assisted by Marian Gaborik, two former New York Rangers. Sergei Bobrovsky got the starting goal, and he faced a lot of shots too. 35 saves on 39 shots and 897 save percentage. Those generally would look like bad stats. When you face a lot of shots like that, you're definitely put under a lot of pressure. So give Sergei Bobrovsky credit, but still, big win for the Washington Capitals. Next, we have the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Chicago Blackhawks in Chicago. 3-1 victory for the Hawks, a big win for them. On goals from Brian Bickle, he finally gets his first of the year, assisted by Andrew Shaw and Marcus Kruger. And then after the Leafs tied up the game, Michael Koska would score his first NHL goal, assisted by Brandon Peary getting his first assist of the year, and Nick Leddy. But for Michael Koska, his first NHL goal against his former team, that would turn out to be the game winner. And then Brandon Peary would get his second of the year on the power play, assisted by Brandon Saad and Nick Leddy. So 2 assists on the night for Nick Leddy, and a 2-point performance for Brandon Peary. Corey Crawford got the starting goal, didn't face much. 19 saves on 20 shots and 950 save percentage. For the Toronto Maple Leafs, Nazem Kadri would score the only goal for them on the power play, assisted by Joffrey Lupul and Cody Franson. Jonathan Bernier would get the starting goal, and he was actually good despite giving up 3 goals. He was under a lot of fire in this game. 37 saves on 40 shots, a 925 save percentage. So give Bernier some credit. Like Sergei Bobrovsky, give Jonathan Bernier some credit. Congrats, though, to the Chicago Blackhawks. Next, we have the Detroit Red Wings and the Phoenix Coyotes in Phoenix, their second meeting of the year, their final meeting of the year. Big win for the Coyotes by a final score of 5-2, and this is a game to talk about. The Red Wings had a 2-0 lead at the end of the first period, but after that, it was all Phoenix, particularly in the third period. Phoenix goals being scored by Antoine Vermette, assisted by Rob Klinkhammer and Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Then Mike Ribeiro would score the first of 2 goals in the game, assisted by Michael Bodker and Derek Morris. Then Martin Hanzal would get his second of the year, assisted by Lauri Korpikoski, his first assist of the year. And then Mike Ribeiro would get his second of the game, assisted by Michael Bodker and David Moss. And then, with 0.1 seconds remaining in the game, the Phoenix Coyotes get credited with an unassisted empty net goal. But the goal scorer of that goal would be the goaltender, Mike Smith. Mike Smith getting his first NHL goal and becomes the third goaltender in 3 years to be credited with a goal. A goal he has scored in 3 straight years. In 2011-12, it was Cam Ward being credited with a goal. Last season, and he did it against the New Jersey Devils. Last season, it was Marty Brodeur setting the NHL record for most goals by an NHL goaltender against, coincidentally, the Carolina Hurricanes. And then this year, it's Mike Smith getting it done against the Detroit Red Wings. So, a big moment for him in his career. In addition to the goal, Mike Smith was brilliant in net. 31 saves on 33 shots and 939 save percentage and first star honors, with Mike Ribeiro being the second star and Derek Morris being the third star. But Mike Smith, well deserving of the first star honors, with obviously the great save percentage, a lot of saves, and the goal. So, congratulations to him. For the Detroit Red Wings, again, they did have a 2-0 lead in the game on goals by Pavel Datsyuk, assisted by Henrik Zetterberg and Jonathan Eriksson. And then Todd Bertuzzi would get his second of the year unassisted. Jimmy Howard got the start in net, and he made 28 saves on 32 shots and 875 save percentage. So he was okay. Not great. But congrats to the Phoenix Coyotes and particularly to Mike Smith. Next, we have the Calgary Flames and the San Jose Sharks. In San Jose, the Flames looking to give the Sharks their first regulation loss of the season. Not happening that night, and not happening against the Flames. The Sharks coming up with another big win, 6-3 the final score. After a disappointing shootout loss to the Dallas Stars. San Jose goals being scored by Brent Burns, assisted by Joe Pavelski, and Brad Stewart, his first assist of the year. Then Scott Hannon would get up on the board, assisted by Joe Thornton and Thomas Hertl. Then, after the Flames made it 2-1, Joe Pavelski would get a power play goal, assisted by Patrick Marleau and Matt Irwin. Then Patrick Marleau would get a power play goal, assisted by Joe Pavelski and Joe Thornton. Then, after the Flames got 2 goals to make the game close, Joe Pavelski would score a power play goal, assisted by Logan Couture and Jason Demers. And then Logan Couture would come up with an empty net goal, assisted by Tommy Wingels and Mark-Edward Vlasic. For Joe Pavelski, a 4-point night, 2 goals, 2 assists, well deserving of the game's first star, 5 shots on goals. Only downside, he was a -1, but that's easily erased with the performance he had. Antti Niemi would get the starting goal and didn't face much. 16 saves on 19 shots and .842 save percentage. So he wasn't great, he was okay. For the Calgary Flames, their goals would be scored by Sean Monahan on the power play, assisted by Sven Baertschi and Chris Russell. So Sean Monahan sticking with the team after all. Then Michael Backlund would get himself a short-handed goal, assisted by Lee Stempniak and Dennis Weidman. And then Jiri Hudler would score at even strength, assisted by Sean Monahan and Mark Giordano, the captain. Kari Ramo getting his first start in net since the opening game of the since the first game of the season. His second start of the year. Joey McDonald had just been brilliant, but for Kari Ramo, 30 saves and 35 shots and .857 save percentage. Not a great night for him or the Flames in general. Congratulations to the Calgary Flames. And last but certainly not least, we have the Dallas Stars and the Los Angeles Kings in LA. The LA Kings coming up huge with a 5-2 victory. After the Dallas Stars did take a 1-0 lead and then did tie the game at 2. But in third, it was all LA. For the Kings, goals coming from Justin Williams, who had 2 goals in the game, assisted by Jake Muzzin and Anze Kopitar. Then Justin Williams, second of the game, came on the power play, assisted by Anze Kopitar and Drew Doughty. For Drew Doughty, that's his first assist of the year. Then Drew Doughty would get himself a goal, assisted by Justin Williams, his first assist of the year, and Anze Kopitar. So 3 assists on the night for Anze Kopitar. Then Kyle Clifford would get his first of the year, assisted by Matt Green, his first goal of the year for Kyle Clifford, first assist of the year for Matt Green and Jake Muzzin. And then Matt Green would get his second of the year via an empty net goal, unassisted. So 3-point nights for both Justin Williams and Anze Kopitar. For Williams, 2 goals and an assist. For Kopitar, 3 assists. So they were absolutely brilliant. 5 shots on goal for Justin Williams. 4 for Anze Kopitar. Drew Doughty had a goal and an assist. Matt Green had a goal and an assist. Jake Muzzin, 2 assists. So basically all the same guys getting it done, and then Kyle Clifford obviously had a goal. Jonathan Quick was also really brilliant. 27 saves and 29 shots and .931 save percentage. He was unbelievable. For the Dallas Stars, their goals coming from Tyler Seguin, assisted by Jamie Benn and Rich Peverly. And then Rich Peverly would get his second of the year, assisted by Jamie Benn and Tyler Seguin. So those 3 guys all with multi-point performances for the Dallas Stars. Jamie Benn, 2 assists. Rich Peverly, a goal and an assist. And Tyler Seguin, a goal and an assist. Dan Ellis would get the start in net, making 29 saves on 33 shots and .879 save percentage. Faced a lot, but still was not good enough to get the win. So congratulations to the Los Angeles Kings. And that is it for all the games from Saturday night. And now, only one thing left to do. This day in hockey history from October 20th, 1993, New Jersey Devils goaltender Martin Brodeur recorded his first career NHL shutout in a 4-0 victory over the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim on October 20th, 1993. Now Marty Brodeur is the record holder for most shutouts in all of NHL history as of 2013, as he has recorded 121 shutouts. Obviously, the Devils' shutout for this season came from Corey Schneider, so that will not count for Marty Brodeur. And that will do it, folks. That'll do it for episode 79 of Hockey on the Spot. Join me again in a little bit when we do episode 80. That will promise to be a very short episode. So until then, this has been Hockey on the Spot. Brandon Barenfeld. I'm Brandon Barenfeld. I'll see you guys in a few. Have a great day.